Welcome. I promised you an experience that would be experiential and Socratic, and I think I just gave a half an hour lecture there. But I wanted us to spend a few minutes really focused on the reality of American slavery. I think it's an experience everybody needs, but you only need it once. So we get that out the way. But we have covered some territory in the 4 hours that we've been together. So I just want to take out some time now and have a discussion. So this is time for, any statement or thinking out loud or fine to ask questions. It'll go wherever it goes. But we do need someone to start. Do you feel like I was looking at you? Yeah, why not? Talk to me. Talk to us, really. It's not me, it's to us.
I can say I've been a whole lot out of it, learning more than what I practically learned in school from it. Because they did keep a lot of stuff from us. A lot of stuff that they didn't want us to see, didn't want us to know about. Like they say, the only way you learn, you gotta go out and get in the books and get into the books the right way and get it yourself. So what you doing right here is a lot of help. And I definitely appreciate it.
Okay. Now it's not the time to be appreciative, but, but let me ask you a question, and don't take this wrong, okay? But who is they? You said they don't want us to know.
Well, when I was, as they said, people in school, the teachers, a lot of the teachers didn't want us to learn about the majority of our history and everything. Because there's a lot of things that black man did come up with, but was taken from him by the white man. And they didn't want us to know that. The teachers didn't want us to know nothing about it, and they didn't put it in the books.
Okay. So you think your history teacher was making a conscious decision to withhold information that would be valuable to your life?
There was a lot of teachers holding back on what they weren't putting the real truth out there.
Okay. And why do you think they did?
Trying to keep the black man down. That's the way I see it.
Okay. How do you see that, Ian?
They try. If you let them.
Were your teachers white
Yeah.
predominantly?
Yeah.
Did you have?
Because when I was in grade school, all I did was just sit there, and the teacher turned around and come with the pointer and say, "You come here," and want to try and beat on me with a pointer. And I ain't really said nothing or did nothing.
I can testify that corporal punishment used to be in place in American schools. Even when it was wooden paddles that big with holes drilled in them, with somebody, grown man, swinging as hard as they possibly could.
Yeah, we took it as a whole lot of them was coming to school. A lot of the teachers was coming to school with, they had problems at home, so instead of taking it out at home, they come take it out on the black students.
Yeah. My ancestors come from coal mining country.
So did mine.
Hills of West Virginia. And in Beckley, West Virginia, they have a demonstration coal camp. And, they were almost like cities unto themselves. They had, their own church and their own school and all of that. And I'm talking about for white kids, in the school for white kids now, And this is, historically accurate, kind of like Williamsburg, Virginia. And they had two signs. One sign was not, framed statements. One was the expectation of teachers in those days. So, teachers weren't expected to have any love relationship whatsoever, okay? Couldn't have sex, marry, or children of their own. They were expected to always be upstanding, to be in their home by sundown. Pretty high standard for teachers. And then they had a sign that literally was how many whacks children got for various offenses. I mean, it was like a playbill, you know. And I forget what the worst thing you could do was. I think it was like something silly like play cards or something, you know. But there's a tradition in this country of whacking people and thinking that it's good for them. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to talk out the other side of my mouth soon. I'm going to be talking about slavery and our beating our children. But the only point I'm trying to make, Jesse, is sometimes I wonder who is this them, you know, that stays awake nights conspiring to keep us in check. And I don't think most people do. I don't think most people, white people, frankly, think about it very much, or frankly care very much. You know.
Figure of speech.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't get me wrong. You know, there's people that want to keep us focused on everything except what might endanger their economic welfare. But I'm still trying to find this mythical them that stays awake nights figuring out how to continue to manipulate black people, much less today. Now, we know there was a time when government, you know, law, culture, every aspect of culture conspired to keep us slaves, okay? And we know there was a time, you know, that time that I and others call slavery by another name, when they were fighting to maintain that economic system, which meant that we were economically abused, if not physically abused. But today, I just think it's unconscious negative legacies of slavery
Yeah,
on both parts of the fence. Do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
I mean, until they become conscious of the programming that allowed them to accept human slavery, then they might continue to display some behaviors that you would characterize as designed to keep us down. But are they really designed to keep us down at this point, or are they just
They trying.
legacies that remain?
It's still countries out here that still got slavery going. They just ain't pulled it out.
To some degree, sure.
Certain countries still doing it.
There's lots of people that would argue that that's true. Yeah. What else?
You say you talk about slavery, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead of you.
No, it's okay. Go.
But you know, you speak about us beating our children, and it's funny because when my son and daughter, when I was raising my son and daughter, and as far as me whooping on them, I didn't whoop them until it was something that they really, really deserved a whipping for. And when I gave him a whooping, it was mostly my son, because he was the one that was giving me the most hell, being a single mother and all. I told him that I would not give him more than 33 lashes.
Really?
And my reasoning for that, because that was how many Jesus was supposedly have gotten. And to this day, I think he never forgot that. But I never did give him more than 33, and I think I did whoop him twice, and he didn't get the total 33.
Okay. I was really curious about the word lashes because, you know, slavery is the last time that I'm aware of, you know, that particular word being used. And yes, we are getting ahead of ourselves. And it's worse than getting ahead of ourselves, Vicki. We are in the one area that people disagree with me on. Okay? I mean, many hundreds of people have been through this experience, and often I ask, you know, we've been together a long time, well, what do we disagree on? The one thing that comes up is beating our children. Okay? I'm pretty happy with that for the most part. And I must admit that I have problems with it. I do, because I'm still trying to figure out how a people who knew the lash for hundreds of years takes pride and dignity in beating their children. Okay. And honestly, you are the first person out of hundreds to ever use the word the lash. Of people that knew the lash for 400 years take pride and dignity out of beating their children. Until I asked myself during slavery, how else could you protect your child? Other than to be able to stop them in their tracks. What are you supposed to do? Oh, let's take a time out. You know, when they're about to offend somebody white that's going to put a real hurting on them. However, I think you can search a whole lot of the planet today and not find anybody that believes in ever beating a child, much less giving a child lashes, except those cultures that knew slavery or more brutal forms of colonialism, where it was used as a form of control for adults as well as children. Now, I told you I'd be talking out both sides of my mouth at some point, right? But let's look at what's all too common, okay? A mother in a pediatrician's office in the inner city, smacking her child around, saying, "You gonna shut up and beat you to death when I get home? You ain't no good, you're just like your daddy." And, you know, I asked myself, well, why on earth would a rational person behave like that in public, in a doctor's office, in front of other people? And the conclusion that I come up with is she's trying to demonstrate that she's a responsible parent. Literally. Because for hundreds of years, the demonstration of responsible parenthood for those locked into American slavery was to have beat your children into submission so that you could stop them in an instant. You didn't even have to grunt. They could hear your eyes blinking. And their job was don't do anything, don't say anything. You just stand there and freeze while I try to get you out of this. So don't misunderstand. I know how accepted such behavior is in the African American community. I know people like your children that were beat with interesting objects. For me, it was a razor strap, and nobody knows what a razor strap is anymore. You know, but think leather, you know, doubled up. My father used to walk around popping it, you know, because he wanted you to feel the fear before he put the lashes on you. And there were times when we bled. And it took me a long time to not dislike him for it. And he was a really good father, worked hard every day. He brought his paycheck home, put it in my mother's. My mother never had to work. Hard-working man, you know, no vices. But you get him wound up, and he had a flashback to slavery, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure he was beat that way. You know, and his father was probably beat that way. But at some point, you think it's okay if we stop that behavior? Might 2017 be an appropriate time to just flick that one aside?
Yes.
Good.
I would agree.
Good. Okay, let's move on. Let me move on. You gotta get out of here while I'm getting out safe. Okay. Right, Jesse? Okay, who next? What else? Questions, comments, thoughts, reflections?
I say it like this: if getting hit with skillets and pots and stuff, if that was love, that was some tough love.
I'm glad you feel that way. I'm glad you feel that way. Because I think it was. I think it was much. I want to believe that it was as tough as it needed to be then, but what I really think is it was just an unconscious, unchecked, negative mental legacy of slavery. Because let's face it, would you rather beat your own child during slavery, or would you want master to take him away?
I beat him.
And that's what it was all about. It was all about convincing master, you don't have to give my child 50, 40 real lashes. I can take care of this.
Right.
But in the process, I think we became convinced that it's the mark of good parenting. So, you know that little girl in the pediatrician's office? Chances are she doesn't beat her child. Chances are she ignores her child. And the poor child is like, oh my God, she knows I exist. You know what I'm saying? That's why the child can't react the right way, because they aren't used to it. It's that parent trying to convince us other adults that she's a good parent.
Right.
Okay.
And I don't think ignoring them works so well either. I don't. And
I'm sorry.
you said ignore
Oh,
that child. I don't think that worked very well either, but at the same time, and the only reason why I say that is because for many years, my mother, as a child growing up, she kept me in the house on punishment. And at the same time of her keeping me in the house on punishment, she ignored me, just to, it's just she and I in the house.
now I was talking about a 5-minute timeout. Okay, but let me say this in all honesty. It requires a good relationship between parent and child for non-physical forms of punishment to be effective. It's not something, it's something that if you made the decision today, I'm going to change, it's going to be a while before the kid figures it out. And it's, So, yeah, I was just talking about timeout. I wasn't talking about ignoring a child and a child feeling the pain of that. Okay. Yeah, we got time for maybe one more. You got anything in?
I was only hit twice by my father with an open hand, only once. One slap. One was for verbally disrespecting my mother at the dinner table with all the kids seated. The other time was for, I was told not to go into the cemetery and look at the naked men that used to skinny dip at the bottom of, a really high bluff. At the time, I didn't even understand. I'd never seen a naked man. We were probably 12, and they were a long way away. So if they wanted to get us, we would be out of there. And the vertical, and what I didn't even know at the time is they were homosexual. Anywhere that was like where the gay guys would go and skinny dip. So I got whooped once for that. Being hit. No, we didn't get hit. We did not get hit.
Well, let's end this segment by me being honest and saying that I was always pissed. I think I was probably 45 years old before I could accept the good in my father, because he just didn't know when to stop. He just kind of lost it. And ironically, it wasn't so much what happened to me and stuff happened to me. It's what I saw happening to my older brother. And all I can say is thank God when my sister came along 10 years after me, all that stuff was out of their system. And she never knew any of that. But we as a people, I think, have to be willing to challenge each other in that thinking. Because as you know, it is deeply ingrained in the African American community. It really is. It's almost the primary characteristic of our parenting. Okay. In the next segment, we're going to address straight up negative male legacies of slavery.